What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and today I am talking about a movie that was probably my most anticipated of the year, if not top 3, and that is Christopher Nolan's Tenet. Now, this movie was originally slated to come out in July, it got delayed, and now it's finally in theaters. Before I give you guys my thoughts at all, I just wanted to say there will be absolutely zero spoilers in this video. I'm going to save those for a spoiler-filled review that should come out later this week. I'm very, very excited to talk about this movie, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Armed with only one word, Tenet, and fighting for the survival of the entire world, a protagonist journeys through a twilight world of international espionage on a mission that will unfold in something beyond real time. So yeah, I'll preface this by saying Christopher Nolan is one of my favorite working directors. I'm sure most of you would agree. Nolan's just so good. He creates these compelling narratives that are so rich and complex, but they also have great action, and that's exactly what Tenet is. All of his movies are great to good. He's never made a bad movie in my eyes, and he continues that trend here with Tenet. I think this movie is really good. Christopher Nolan is pushing the boundaries when it comes to action and spectacle on the big screen. From the opening, I was locked in because the action sequence is just so enthralling, and there's a sequence that you see in the trailer on a highway. That is one of my new favorite action scenes of all time. I was seriously so riveted by it, the way the score played into it by Ludwig Göransson, who, his score is phenomenal. Go ahead and give him best score of the year, or at least nominate the man, because every time it played, I was just like getting chills down my spine. The theater I was in, the sound system was blasting, and I think this was the loudest movie theater experience I've ever had, and I'm not complaining because, like I said, it accompanied those epic action sequences with the score so well, and those two things really carried this movie for me. When it comes down to the plot itself, I was intrigued, very much so. I was getting into it. John David Washington is obviously the protagonist, as he's called in the movie, and Robert Pattinson is playing Neil, and these two characters are essentially the leads that you follow throughout the movie. They go on these different missions, you see this very complex narrative unfold, and this is not a shot at the movie by any means, but I can comfortably say this is probably the most confusing movie I've ever seen, at least from Christopher Nolan. And Inception and Interstellar are two movies that I adore. I think they're both great, but when you watch them the first time, you're not really getting the full effect, in my opinion. Like, when I first saw Interstellar, I was like, that was so great, but my mind could not process everything that I had witnessed because it's so in-depth and there's so much to dig deep into that when I rewatched Interstellar, I gained more, and that is exactly what I have to say about Tenet. There is so much going on, which is not a bad thing by any means. I'm not taking a shot at Christopher Nolan. I am just stating that the movie was so complex. There were so many small details that were hard to pick up on. I honestly got lost in a few parts. Christopher Nolan just likes to make these complex narratives, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way he's always been. I honestly expected to be a little confused when this movie ended, and I was. I'm still kind of processing everything that happened. I'm definitely going to be watching videos on YouTube explaining things, reading as many articles as I can on it. I did the same thing with Interstellar after I saw it. It's funny that I feel the same way. This movie is visually stunning. The cinematography is gorgeous. The way that they just shot the movie in general is stunning stuff. And I do think the movie is slightly too long. That's a little bit of an issue I have. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes. About an hour and 15 minutes in, it started to drag a little bit for me. There's probably 10 minutes in there where I was like, okay, let's get things going. It picks right back up, though. That's just a minor gripe that I have. I think that Nolan has the right to make these long movies, obviously, because he has done them in the past so well, but I honestly think this one could have been probably 10-15 minutes shorter. Wouldn't have hurt a thing. That's usually an issue I have with some of his movies, is they overextend their welcome. This one does just a little bit. I could have used a little more character development with John David Washington. I know that's a common gripe, and it wasn't an overwhelming issue for me, but I definitely agree there could have been a little more depth to certain characters in the movie. Didn't really take away from the overall experience, though, because I was so locked in. I saw it on the big D screen at my theater, which is not IMAX, but it's still a massive screen, and the sound system was just so enhanced. My seat was shaking. I was so invested in this story. I cannot wait to watch this movie again because I know my thoughts are going to change, and that's the good thing about watching movies is I don't have to watch a movie once and say, oh, this is the rating I give it. It's set in stone forever. Can't change it. No, that's not the case at all. I already know that I'm going to like this movie more on rewatch. I'll know the characters more. I'll know where the movie's headed, and I can watch it through a different lens. Just like with all of Nolan's movies. When you go back and rewatch them, I feel like they're more enjoyable, and you can get more out of them with each viewing. I think that's exactly what's going to happen with Tenet. The movie, I can't call a masterpiece at the moment. I think that years from now, it could definitely be deemed as one once I've really dug into it and gotten a better grasp of what exactly I witnessed, because there is so much going on. And don't let that deter you from seeing the movie. I recommend this to anyone who loves movies, who loves action movies, who loves suspense, great scores, and just seeing something epic on the big screen. I recommend that you check out Tenet. If I had to give this movie a rating right now, based on my out of 10 score, I'd probably go 8 out of 10. That's 4 out of 5 stars in Letterboxd. And the way that I have that in my notes is really good, 2 thumbs up. 4 out of 5 is not bad at all. And especially on my first impression of the movie, I'm not disappointed by this movie at all. The fact that I personally am just confused by certain elements of the film doesn't make it a bad movie. And I already know, like I said, my thoughts are going to change on this movie. And that's the thing that I love about movies in general. I think back to the first time I saw Dunkirk, I felt a similar way. I wasn't confused by Dunkirk, but I was a little underwhelmed. But each time I've gone back and watched Dunkirk, I've liked it more and I've gained something new with my viewing experience. Overall, I had a really good time with Tenet. It felt so refreshing to get back into the theater and just check out a movie like this that's just so epic in scale on the big screen. And Nolan always promotes this, but I recommend seeing this in IMAX or at least the biggest screen you can access because wow, it was so immersive from start to finish. So yeah, those are my quick thoughts on Tenet, Christopher Nolan's new film. Definitely consider hitting the like button and comment your thoughts on Tenet down below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you in the middle? And I'd be interested to hear some theories. So if you want to talk Tenet, you can message me on Instagram at Filmstocked. I would be happy to have a discussion with you about the movie. I would like to keep the comment section spoiler free for now, but when I have my spoiler video, you can just throw as many spoilers down there as you want in the comment section because that's going to be a fun dialogue that we can have, and that's what I love about Nolan movies. So yeah, thank you all for support. It really does mean the world. It's exciting to get back into the theater and see new movies, but I still have to be safe about it, but it is a very exciting experience. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would mean the world, and I am so excited for this spoiler video. That's going to be a long one where I can really dive into certain plot details and really talk about it. I danced around spoilers in this video, so it was just my brief impression, my brief thoughts. That's what I like to do with new releases. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and definitely stay tuned for more podcast episodes, live streams, collabs, all that good stuff. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.